been a long time coming. We've been waiting for this. Another episode of Cinestro Court. Feels like we waited another 28 years. Go ahead and roll that song.
Cinestro Court, the cast. It's your weekly gold mine. Stay tuned in. Stay tuned in. They got the beats, got those comic spins. I stay tuned in. Stay tuned.
Not my favorite introduction of yours, Matt, but you know
that did psychic damage.
It was succinct and to the point.
I checked the analytics, and it seems like people not fucking with the intros.
Really?
To that, I have to say, fuck them. Because next week, just understand, next week, all the stuff we're talking about next week, I have like 50 different options. Y'all not ready for what I'm about to do. The type of shit I'm about to do ain't been released yet.
An intro. Hate to see you coming.
They're gonna hate to see me coming, just like they hate to see these infected coming in 28 years later.
Let's go, beautiful.
Greatest horror is back. Are we back for real, guys? Chat, are we back with horror? I think so.
Brother,
Sinners brought us back to the
horror's hasn't been gone, dude.
I don't know. Niggas is not scary, like for real. Real life is scarier than horror movies. I'm gonna be honest.
No.
Yes.
Not from you.
Bro. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's start.
I would say in terms of like elevation of certain pockets of horror, I would say horror is back. I say in that regard. Because zombies have lacked for so long having a good representation in horror. The last good horror movie I remember involving zombies, I think, that was mainstream was like Train to Busan, and then that got ruined by what?
Little Monsters.
What the hell is Little Monsters? You mean Cooties?
It's a banger. No. I'm talking about Little Monsters. Don't worry. Look it up. He's not a real horror.
Lupita Nyong'o, that one.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But I mean like ones to really like grab the genre and really bring it up in a way that it hasn't been seen in years. And I think this did that excellently because it also had what I was not expecting to be a very emotional edge to it. True. That was good. That was good.
Said Danny Boyle back.
Man, AZ. You know, it's been a while. It's been a few years. Tell them the story. Tell them what the plot is feeling.
I'm glad you asked, Matt. So, once upon a time, there was a group of British people doing what they do best, being really smart. They tested a disease on a monkey. That monkey got really angry. Turns out the monkey can spread angry to people when it bites them. A group of idiots let that monkey free and spread a
group of animal rights activists.
PETA fucked up the world.
They died all the same. It doesn't matter. It's not on their headstones. Who cares?
When woke brings about the end of the world.
Exactly. Listen. I'm not saying we started our grift, but
Danny Boyle certainly has.
Danny Boyle certainly has. But anyway, the rage virus spreads, and it goes through a cycle of it spreading and ravaging throughout London as it should, and then being contained, and then spreading again, and then being contained. And here is 28 years from the very first point of the rage virus outbreak, and society, at least British society, has crumbled. Slightly more than it could. Thank God, possibly. But it is worse for wear. We got him. There are scarce pockets of society left, and the villages and the rural places like near the coast have taken shelter because it's hard for the infected to get near them. And
basically, it's you know
post-apocalyptic
people.
Yeah, like a tribal.
It follows our main character who's still living like in a enforced quarantine on an island away from the mainland, and then you can only get to this island via a causeway, and then one of them decides to journey into the mainland, and then he discovers the true horrors of the world out there.
Rephrase: a British kid decides to go back to the mainland, whatever he is. He's some type of European.
Very different.
That's like 28 weeks later.
Oh, I was gonna say
everything for
I was gonna
everyone.
say something that I think is very funny about this movie, just right off the rip, is the fact that it completely disregards 28 weeks later.
Mhm.
It just because in that movie, the rage virus spreads
To France.
to different parts of Europe, and then Danny Boy's like, no, motherfuckers, it's
He
only
said it was contained.
England.
it's only
He said
contained to
it got to France and then they contained it.
No,
That's
it
what he
The
said.
French
it
people
completely
were
didn't.
like, never mind.
I think it's more like a
Croissant.
retcon. It's not really a disregard. They still
no.
acknowledge that it happened, but it
Anyway,
wasn't as big.
but I think, but also what I want to just also say is that I think, I mean, first of all, I think this movie is incredible. I think it's great. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I think, and we ride hard for Alex Garland on this podcast. I think
Absolutely.
that's pretty obvious. But it's just his writing meshes and ideas mesh so well with me, and I just think it's so.
For Alex Garland.
I just think he's such a smart fucking dude, and I like the ideas that he packs inside his movies. Like, for example, this movie has a lot to say about a lot of different things, whether or not it follows through, or whether or not it gives you answers, or
and
answers
whether
to
I
those questions.
caught those themes
It's besides the point, but he did. Like, I just think there's something so pertinent and so kind of like important about the fact that this movie is, whether you like it or not, kind of like an indictment or a commentary on Brexit, right? And about how and the British people and kind of separating themselves from the rest of the world, and this kind of like national extreme nationalism and stuff like that, And I just think this is a perfect combination of Alex Garland and Danny Boyle. I think Alex Garland can sometimes, what a lot of people say, that he gets too caught up in his own ideas. And I think pairing him up with Danny Boyle and returning to this world after, it feels like they had a lot to say about the world at large and our day-to-day at real life. And so they're like, how can we bring this into this world that we had created all those years ago? I just think it was a perfect meshing of two incredibly talented filmmakers. And I think this is the best this movie could have gone. It could have been really bad, or it could have been what we got, and I think we're so lucky. We're so lucky for it.
And I think we're all kind of on the same page as far as what we think about this movie being really, really solid. Like I said at the start of what was it, April, we're entering that run of films where everything's just going to be really, really good films coming out. Of course, there's a few pieces of bullshit scattered in between there. We'll address that later on. But for the most part, we've been getting banger after banger, and I think 28 years does stand out for the month of June. Of course, we got F1 coming out this weekend. You already know I'm gonna be riding hard for Ferrari. You're gonna see me act the fool. But right now we're on our zombie shit. Speaking of zombies, let's give our ratings real quick. I want us to see where the temperature is, and we'll go dive deeper into our discussion.
Sounds good.
I'll start with mine real quick. I gave this one a 4.5. I know I haven't added on Letterboxd yet, but it's like a 4.5 for me, bro. This shit was fire as hell. I was in the theater. It was, first of all, shout out Grand Prairie. I guess niggas out here don't know about cinema because the theater was empty. I was in there by myself with two other people on the left. And in contrast to my showing of another movie, which we'll discuss later, where I was in there with a bunch of just anyways. But we're in there. I'm just enamored. We talk about so many good films on this podcast, and I love seeing well shot cinema with phenomenal actors, phenomenal performers in there. Great story. It's a banger. After every point in this movie was a banger. The only thing that, and I'm gonna get jumped for saying this, the only thing I didn't like, and it's just a minor critique, I didn't really like the sound, the music.
You're stupid.
On the score. Yeah.
I want problems always.
That's okay. It's totally perfect. It's perfect. It's totally okay to have your own.
It's because I've seen,
you're allowed to be wrong.
With Hans Zimmer, with Danny Elfman, with Alan Silvestri, all these elite composers, and then like there's some positive sounding ass music while niggas are getting their heads ripped off and shot at and fucked up in ways I can't imagine. And I'm like, bro, this sounds like an infomercial right now. Please put some menacing music on.
Infomercial is crazy.
Let me piss my pants. I'm not scared of a lot of things.
We talked about, and look, we need to premise this because people are going to think we're stupid and we have no media literacy. I mentioned to Matthew that the reason for that is because the filmmaker is trying to show you kind of like how jarring the dichotomy between those two things are, right? Watching these horrific things happen on screen and then hearing this music that does not relate or has absolutely nothing to do with it, something that's upbeat and kind of poppy, whereas you're watching some pretty horrific shit. It's like that's the whole point, is for it to be kind of this visceral, kind of like unsettling experience. Yeah, exactly. And so, and I think it was expertly and beautifully implemented into the film, and I think Danny really had, really good control over tone. And I think that the music played a very vital. I also think a lot of the song choices and needle drops were incredible. But again, it's just a difference of opinion. But we understand.
We like James Gunn, so we like cool music in our movie.
They also didn't put that one rock theme from every other 28 movie. You know, the one that plays at the end of each movie when it's like that little, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they didn't play that.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, bro?
Music this time.
Personally,
overall, I thought it was a banger. So that's
personally, if I were to say this movie were to rank anywhere, I'd say it's the best in the franchise by far. That's undisputable. I mean, just amazingly shot. There was something that I had a very large difference of opinion from with everybody else, which was the glitch of the camera effects. Sometimes I understand that is the director's style, but for
what do you mean glitch of the
parts,
camera? What do you mean?
When
Like,
when it would get like a low frame rate, it would do like a little stagger.
He's talking about the split diopter shots, I think.
Is that whenever they would get killed and it would go from one angle to the other?
No, like remember when Aaron Taylor Johnson is holding the knife and is like,
and it goes, it looks like,
and it kind of lags.
I like that.
Incredible.
I thought it was cool.
I think it was great.
I liked it in certain moments more than others because at certain parts it felt excessive. I was like, all right, I get it. It felt like, when you're watching, I think it's like the third Taken movie, and then there's like 15 cuts of Liam Neeson climbing a fence.
Never watched that movie. I'm a grown man.
Sure, yeah.
Be proud of yourself. But but it was just kind of jarring at certain parts of it. But I did really like that. I also, even though the ending was
incredible,
my God, the ending is one of the most surprising payoffs to a background thing that I've ever fucking seen in a movie. Because throughout the movie, all you just see is praise Jimmy or we love Jimmy or something about Jimmy carved into the background of everything. It's one of the first places you see it is in an infected that they find located within a building that's got a bag over its head. And the whole time I was looking at it, I was like, why does that say Jimmy? And then they're going through a building in town. It says, praise Jimmy or Jimmy rocks or something like that, of that nature. And then at the very end,
Jimmy,
you get the payoff to Jimmy, which is the greatest track-suited Power Rangers ass whooping I've ever seen. I got to give this
fire.
And the beauty of the Memento Mori scene cannot be understated. That is, I love Ray Fiennes, or as Graham calls him, Ralph Fiennes, and
Ralph Fiennes.
I really think that at first I had thought he was underutilized in this movie, but the scene that he's in is just so impactful that I completely disagree with my earlier stance, because it's just so well put together that after society's crumbled and everything is gone and he knows that everything is dead within the place that he called home, he still wants that death to mean something. It's beautiful. It makes life have meaning. It's a great theme the movie meditates on, and for that I got to give it a 4.8 if that's possible. Nice. Just that scene props it up so much. It was beautiful.
You're violating the laws of Letterboxd for this movie. Nice.
Bro, you don't understand. It was the most emotional thing I've ever seen in a movie in quite some time. And then Crank 2 High Voltage, and I was just like, this is the great cinema. Hold on.
No, you're right.
It's
fucked. You can tell where the pen was locked in. You can tell where Alex Garland's pen was locked in.
Where the pen
on that scene
caught on fire.
Yeah,
Fucking tonal
it's like,
whiplash, dude.
like you said, Ralph, his whole
Ray Fiennes.
his character was
Rafe.
supposed to be
Ray Fiennes.
Ray. My fault. Voldemort. Grand Budapest Hotel. Remember that for later.
Yeah.
He was character was supposed to be this insane former doctor, and it turns out to be the most like human approach of a character,
The most meditative and like sane maybe character in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great.
If you really think about it, everybody else on that fucking island is kind of. I get it, given the circumstances, they're that's what they got to deal with. But like, bro, y'all are wilding out. I got a 12-year-old drinking whiskey after he killed like 13 zombies. Bro. I killed 13 zombies on the PS4.
I haven't done it. Matt was talking.
Was cooking.
Go ahead, Gerardo. Speak on it.
It's a four and a half, maybe 5. I love this movie. I just wish it was a little longer. Actually, I feel like
crazy take.
No, I feel like it flies. For me, it flies. So
No,
I wish it was longer.
I agree. It flew for me in that last 30, like right when the mom dies. It's just
yeah.
It feels abrupt.
No, but it's
honestly
so
it takes off.
Everybody
once
was
start
locked
to
in.
Get on the island or get off the island. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was locked in. Aaron Taylor Johnson killed it as always. He's the good actor in this movie, and he's a good actor in Nosferatu as well.
No, he wasn't.
I don't fucking care what you say.
Anyway,
Nosferatu. I'll give you that.
Anyways.
Yeah, at least let's hear your bullshit.
No, I'd give it a 4.5 as well. It's probably my favorite movie of the year so far. We said that it's 1A, 1B Sinners in this. But yeah, man, I just think it was incredible. I think everything about it. I think the script is fucking it's like 9 out of 10. Danny Boyle's in his fucking bag. I think a lot of the cool little tricks that he does and that he did in this film, I think really work. Like when you the thing that AZ did not like, but also that kind of like we all seen the picture of the iPhone rig that they built for this movie, and those are specific. That was specifically made so we could get those cool kill shots of these zombies.
Shots?
Yeah, those rotational where they get killed and it completely flips 180s the angle. I mean, I think it's incredible, man. I give it a 4.5.
Also, I love the implication that iPhones would still exist without the UK because they like import nothing to society. Very funny.
That was really funny.
No. The UK import.
Oh yeah, we didn't touch on Eric. I fucking love Eric.
Hold on. We'll get through. How do we want to talk? Because Matt jumped straight to ratings. So how are we going to navigate this conversation?
Yeah. So I want us to get our ratings out of the way because usually what we do is we talk for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then we give our rating at the end. But I want to get the ratings done first because I feel like we're all on the same page of this. But now we can go dive deeper into our discussion. We mentioned different actors so far. We mentioned Aaron Taylor Johnson, of course. Jodie Comer is in this movie as well.
Incredible.
Ray
Fiennes as always.
Ray Fiennes, yeah.
Ray Fiennes, man.
Ray Fiennes.
Go. Everybody in this movie was cooking, and introduce Eric, our lovable Swedish NATO officer.
He's horrible. He's great.
He was. I think he was in there for like comedic effect, and I was like, "Who is this dude?"
Yeah, he's a nice change of pace.
I think they were trying to do like a callback kind of thing to like 28 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're like, "Hey, remember how Jeremy Renner was in that movie and he was the military guy? We're gonna have another one of those." And then
I don't.
It was kind of.
I think that's what people call coincidence.
Yeah, no. I mean, like to play with like your expectations and then just kill him off.
I think that's what people call a reach.
I see what AZ's saying.
No, I see what you're saying.
You would go in there and be like, "Oh, okay, so this is like a sequel to these first 2 movies I watched. It's probably going to be the same thing. He's probably going to be like important, right?" And then he just gets like within. I think he has like 10 minutes of screen time total, maybe if that. Because I feel like he's in there very briefly. He shows his horrible ghoul of a wife, and then he just gets his head ripped off.
Whoa, that's incredibly rude. But I think
his Love Island looking wife.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
his real mob wives asshole.
I think that character. I really like.
Got voted off.
I like the actor who played him, and I really like that. Like Gerardo mentioned, it's a nice little change of pace, kind of right smack dab in the middle of the movie. Before we go back into kind of like this Spike's harrowing journey. But I think it was more of a narrative tool to show the audience, hey, this really is only happening in the UK. Like they are so secluded from the rest of the world. This is only happening to them. The rest of the world is moving on. And how fucking terrifying of an idea is that? That these people outside of the UK are living their lives like normal, right? Like as if nothing is happening. They're aware of it, but it's not really out of sight, out of mind, right? And so again, that goes back to this idea. And Danny Boyle has touched upon how Brexit is a touchstone for this film. Like he's expressly mentioned that. But I think that's just so. We talk about it billions of times, and we're going to continue talking about it. But the fact that genre lends itself to allow this kind of Trojan horsing of these ideas that are so much bigger than what the movie is on its surface level. I think it's such an incredible one of my favorite things about genre filmmaking. And when you have when you have filmmakers who are as smart and as savvy as Alex Garland and Danny Boyle and are able to do that in a way that's like you get what they're saying, you kind of get what they're going for, but it doesn't hit you over the head with it. But it's also like they also make it like incredibly compelling and dark and fucked up and exciting, and it's like I don't know, man, it's fucking awesome.
I want to add on to what Luis was saying there. That's actually a really good point. It is quite interesting to see like how cerebral this film gets, where it takes this horrible incident that's happening in a foreign land away from the rest of the world, the rest of society, and because it's isolated to an island that's not really in their way or in their general view, they don't care about it, right?
No.
And you would never expect like a genre film, specifically a zombie horror film, to touch on cognitive dissonance within like society struggles, but that is quite impressive. I didn't even really think of that. That is wow. Alex Garland is quite impressive when he has somebody to team up with and like bounce his ideas off of before he directly puts them as questions to the viewer, I feel. Because if he has that filter, right, they can kind of get their ideas into a more like centralized point of view. And I think this film is probably like one of the best products of that.
Yeah.
Also, the score, even though Matt thinks it sounds weird, which it does, I think it's effective. It sounds like I don't even know what genre to describe it as. It's like if Alien Ant Farm tried to make the same music as like Die Antwoord. Like it's just very weird. It's very. It's got this like electro pop grungy kind of feel to it, but also weirdly poppy at moments.
I forgot who made the music for it, but I think they were very much in their bag. And we'll continue talking about kind of actors for a second because I know that's what we were on. But the Alfie Williams, the young actor who plays Spike, I think was incredible. I mean, it's so hard to lead a film, especially a film of this magnitude, a franchise film that's so big and so obviously costs a lot of money, and place that on the show because from the trailers and just basically anybody who doesn't know anything about this movie would think that Aaron Taylor Johnson is like the main character, right? And he's not. Right. He's in a third of the movie, maybe, and then it turns into Spike and he's Ilsa's story after that. But man, I think Danny Boyle is kind of has a knack for casting pretty incredible actors and getting some really incredible performances out of them. And I think I'm so impressed by this
great debuts.
And so I'm so impressed by this young man because he's so young and he's able to carry and act alongside people like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Jodie Comer and Ray Fiennes and hold your own scene for scene. Not once, because we talk about it all the time. Kid actors are bad. And at times it can be incredibly jarring and it can take you out of a project and it'd be very distracting, But this young man was in his fucking bag. And not once did I think he was hindering the movie or holding anything back or holding anything down. In fact, I didn't think about it at all. I was just kind of like, I'm on this ride with this kid, and I'm very invested.
He's not acting. That's actually Spike.
Yeah, exactly, man. He was incredible.
Because I didn't even have a single moment where if I saw anybody else that was a human being named Spike in another media, I'd be like, it's a dog's name. I fully was immersed in this world to the points where I was like, oh, yeah, name that kid Spike. Oh, wow, Spike's in danger. Spike is in peril. I would keep saying it in my head as I like relay whatever's happening on the screen to the rest of myself. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I'm fully immersed and buy into this world.
Well, it's
And
like
just
the
like
UK, they named their kids Alfie, so it's believable.
that's so true. And then like how we say with how even if like an actor is really really great and the material is shitty, they can elevate that material. I feel like sometimes you have first time actors or like newer actors or even just actors that aren't necessarily as right for a role, but the material is great and they're a great actor, but they don't connect with it because the material is slightly above the place where they decided to be in, right?
Yeah.
They don't vibe with it. And for what did you say the young man's name was that plays Spike?
Alfie something.
Sorry, Alfie Williams.
Alfie Williams, for this being a breakout debut role, to use to be performing the material of Alex Garland, whose work we've just said on this podcast multiple times between Civil War, just amazing, and Warfare, just so good all the time. And to be able to have that material and put on this performance in what is essentially a breakout role is quite remarkable. Like that's impressive.
Yeah.
I was genuinely surprised that Aaron Taylor Johnson wasn't the main character half the time because I was
I'm
like,
glad.
okay, so when is he coming back? I'm also glad because
Show
Craven
some
made
fucking respect to my
I'm
homie.
glad because they made it.
No, you saw Craven.
Essentially,
Don't do
what they
that to
did.
me.
Yeah, essentially,
He was the best part of Craven.
Nosferatu. Essentially, what they did was they made it a coming of age story set in the zombie apocalypse. You know, and so I think that was a very cool and very neat thing to do, and a very cool and interesting way to tell this story. You know, and that's what I really liked about the movie is that not once did I ever know what to expect. I just want to give a shout out to Jodie Comer. I think she's consistently great in everything that she's in. I don't think this is the best role for her. Again, Alex Garland has a Christopher Nolan problem in that he has a pretty hard time writing women, and I know that is a fair criticism of his. And I think that this film,
Civil War?
and I think that this film, is another indicator of that. But I do think that Jodie Comer is just what AZ was saying is so good an actress. It's just very hard for her not to be great in anything. Before we move on, do y'all want to just talk about like the ending really quick and just kind of, Ray finally talk about how great he was. And like we'll talk about the ending and kind of like the sequels and basically like how this franchise is gonna line up moving forward. But what we also, just to spoilers, everybody, the film ends right with Spike venturing back out onto the mainland. They find that first of all, a zombie has a non-infected baby, which is kind of AZ. Your mic keeps making a lot of noise, by the way. An infected zombie has a non-infected baby, which we can discuss or not discuss how that happens. But then he drops the baby back off at his sanctuary across the causeway, and he decides to go back out to the mainland and basically live on his own, become a man, essentially. Yeah, exactly. And he gets attacked by a group of infected, and we think that all hope is lost because he's come to a dead end. It's like a little cliff face. There's nowhere for him to run.
It's his last stand.
It's his last stand, and here comes
Remick.
What's his fucking name?
Jimmy.
The actor. Actor.
Now I'm blanking.
Holy shit!
Just call him Jimmy.
No.
Fuck. Oh my god, this is pissing me off. I'm blanking. No. Anyways, here comes the actor who plays Remick in fucking Sinners, and he fucking comes with a group.
Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell. Here comes fucking Jack O'Connell, who plays Jimmy, who was teased at the beginning of the film as a young child when the infection started, and now he comes to Spike's rescue, and they're just a group of like cool fucking Jimmy Savile-esque kind of
did not catch that. I don't know who that is. I thought
group of people, and Jimmy Savile, I think and basically they save him, and people think it's incredibly jarring because it's kind of goofy, it's kind of funny, and it's like kind of a complete different tone and speed from the rest of the film. But what did you guys think about that really quick?
I thought it was fucking sick. I thought it was fun. I like seeing all the infected get beat up to Teletubby noises while they're saying apparently Jimmy Savile quotes. I think is what they're like doing. I don't know, man. It was a good time. I don't see why people hate it. I liked it.
I at first did not like it. It was just like very confusing, very weird. But now after having like 2 days or so since I've seen the movie and getting to think on it, it is the greatest payoff to what I felt was an actual subversion of my expectations. Because other media I've seen will be like, oh yeah, we're gonna subvert your expectations. Bet you didn't expect this to happen, and they will just blatantly lie to your face and then put it in some giant narrative plot twist that doesn't make any sense, right? But through the background, as we were saying earlier, there's just these little things in reference to Jimmy. Just somebody spray painting Jimmy.
Jimmy was here. Yeah, Jimmy carving his name on the zombie's body that they find at the beginning of it.
And you're so invested in the narrative of Spike trying to get his mom better and trying to go out in there in the world and prove himself and everything going on with the survival and the building of this world, that it only catches your eye for a second. You're like, hey, what does that mean, Jimmy? What is that? Oh, never mind. The story's happening. I guess it's not important. But then you see another Jimmy sign, and then another, and then another. And then it gets to this grand emotional crescendo that gets you so invested. You're not even thinking about Jimmy for a half second. And then at the very end, when it gets to the most tense moment, you get a payoff to a thing that you didn't even know you were being told about. It's amazing. Yeah, it's so great.
And here's what's so interesting, and this is why I love Alex Garland. Like, it's something I know Gerardo said he didn't realize, like the reference that the what this was based on or kind of like inspired and stuff. Like Jimmy Savile was like he was like a super famous like British TV presenter who like presented for a show called Top of the Pops or whatever. And so and so it wasn't until his death in 2011 that he was then accused of allegations of child sexual abuse, widespread sexual abuse. And it turns out he was this horrific.
Is that the guy they put a statue of? Or
I think so. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's like this horrific piece of shit who was like nobody knew anything or nothing came out until his death. And so he died in 2011. So so when you take that into consideration, Jimmy, in this timeline, that never happened. That never came out. We never got to that. No one ever really knows. So there's kind of like this dark undertone of like, he's dressed up as this person who really kind of like who like he saw a lot of when he was a child, who really inspired him and like he really liked. And we know in the real world about these dark undertones and these accusations that they're lofted at this man. And it's like, so what is that? What is Alex Garland saying? Is he saying, is he saying something about how these important figures in our childhood really inspire us and kind of like shape us and forge us into who we are? Is he saying something about the child sex abuse? What does that have to do with Jimmy and his group of kind of Power Rangers at the end of the zombie killing Power Rangers? Like it answers nothing. But if you don't understand that reference, I can understand that it's incredibly jarring and kind of confusing. But I just think it's so it's such an incredible little thing to add in the film.
I don't know why, but for some reason now with this added context of now remembering, because the only reference I have to Jimmy Savile is the John Oliver joke about him that I saw maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And now knowing that that's the context of it and that the rest of the world might possibly know, but just in the UK that they don't know, I'm thinking of it makes it funny to me. That ending is now 10 times funnier to me because for some reason, Jimmy and the rest of his gang finding out that, I don't know why, it just makes me laugh a little bit. But that makes the ending 10 times better, knowing that reference.
Right. But they probably don't know though. That's the thing. But yeah.
But I think I feel like instead of it being this tragic or dark undertone there, I feel like it's kind of like this dark comedic irony to me. I don't know why. It makes me laugh a little bit because the absurdity of how they enter is also maybe.
But I also think, I don't think it's
when I get a hold of that clip, I'm gonna edit the Go Power Rangers over it just so people understand.
Are they in armor?
No, but they have color coordinated tracksuits.
Yeah, and it's every color. I think it's really every color of the Teletubbies, but it looks more like Power Rangers.
But there's also Jimmy had a Power Ranger toy, and Danny Boyle made it a really big deal to linger on that Power Ranger toy at the beginning of the film. So, and then they're jumping around doing flips and killing zombies. And
I also like how
not to be a nerd.
Established character, or this is like
the movie opens with him. The movie opens.
Oh, it's not Jim from the first.
No,
one.
No,
and also,
but what's pretty great.
What's pretty great too is I like the subtleties and how he's dressed, because Jimmy has, instead of like an actual like full on king crown, has like a Princess Diana crown, like a tiara. Yeah. He's the queen. I love that. I love that so much.
I don't think it's unrealistic to the world at all to think that there would be people in this world who would actually be thriving in it. You know, people who who kind of thrive in the chaos and kind of in the
what's his name from Mad Max? The main
Max.
The main Joe. Immortal Joe. Yeah, he has like this like pageantry Immortal Joe kind of like. If you mix together like a Dead Islands, or like if you mix together like a Dead Rising Psycho with a Mortem Joe, is kind of what he feels like, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, and
I really want to know what his deal is.
He does feel like a Dead Island Psycho.
Oh, it's also that's
why I love him.
It's also kind of like this. It's also kind of like this, like saying things about like stuff about like what gets preserved in a fallen world, you know, like cults and religiosity, and does that matter? Does that have any power? And of course, like people's kind of longing for connection and how these things can link you together, even if what you're doing may not be, or what do they believe? What, you know, we don't know anything about them. So I don't know, man. It's so great to see a movie that is so beautiful and so compact and so tight and so wonderfully written. Just kind of be like, fuck you. Here's a cliffhanger. We got 2 more movies coming out, bitch. Buckle the fuck up, you know. And the fact that
I love that shit. You don't see cliffhangers anymore.
Exactly.
Other than Dune.
And the fact that. Well, and we'll touch on this really quick just so we can move on. But the fact that there's going to be 2 other movies, 3 in a trilogy. Nia DaCosta is directing the second one. Danny Boyle is coming back to direct the third one, kind of tie it all up. I think.
You mean to fix whatever she fucks up?
Alex Garland wrote the movie as well.
See, that's cool though, because
it's already.
I'm joking. I like the Marvels.
Hey, here's the thing: if it works, then you have a better situation, obviously, than you did in Star Wars, where
it's what should have happened.
And planned. Now that it's planned, and you have someone that's going to come in and wrap his story, and when you have 3 movies, like a second one can obviously it has to differ than years.
Exactly. And I think
when you have someone else bring in and you do a good version of a story that was already set up, and then you come in and you tie, not necessarily say loose ends, but you wrap everything to make sense and not be so-and-so returned, here's Jim or here's Jimmy. That's cool.
Somehow Jim returned.
Exactly.
Well, he is going to be in the third one, I think. But I
thought that zombie that popped up, or the infected that popped up in the field was supposed to be him. But I was like, no, they wouldn't waste killing Murphy in that way, bro.
No,
you got Academy Award winning actor, and you're just gonna make him pop up to be a zombie for like 2 seconds? Nah, bro.
I mean, that would be subverting expectations like a motherfucker, and I think I would be pro that. But I think the second movie is probably gonna be a lot. The second movie is probably gonna be a lot more action heavy and a lot more action oriented. And so that's probably why they brought in Nia DaCosta and having her stylistically, her style is so much different from Danny Boyle's. And the second movie is probably going to feel a lot different from the first one, but is going to continue the same story since it's written by the same guy. And then
so who is the main character? Is it Dr. Kelson or whatever?
No, it's the kid Spike.
Spike, the little dude,
not Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Young Spike, my brother.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So that's basically it. Everybody, go watch this movie.
I'm going tomorrow.
Yep, it fucks so fucking hard, and we can't wait to see what Graham has to say about it.
Like I'm telling you, I'm glazing. Graham, he hasn't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm. This movie, one of the things that makes this movie so great is
you're gonna love it, brother.
Is how much heart it has. Speaking of heart,
Ironheart.
Let's just get down to it. Get down to business. This is why we waited. It's why we.
And on the topic of Ironheart, let me just say there's a surprising amount of love we got in ours for this show. We will be the first To eat humble pie. Most of us have had that ability to reflect on ourselves.
We said
and celebrate
Ironheart, and then
wrong.
Graham left. He said, "I'm not even fucking." He said, "I'm not even talking about that shit." Graham, you got so
Graham,
mad
you
you
got
left,
about this-
bro.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
All right, let's
I'll let y'all go first.
Look,
let's start off.
we this show has been very divisive, at least in our corner for quite some time.
It's only divisive
flopped
if you
on it a
hate
lot.
black and brown people.
Or divisive if you don't, or whatever. But anyway, it's surprisingly good. I'm gonna say it. I was
Disney
surprised
Plus.
by how
Disney
good it
Plus
was.
dropped 3 episodes.
Yes,
You've seen, all 3. I've seen most of episode 3.
I saw the first one, then I got the notification the bear came out and got distracted. But
that's
yes.
crazy. But anyways, so Ironheart,
a
here we
different
go.
kind of
ass it is.
We'll start with Matt, and then we'll go to Graham and Gerardo, and then we'll go from there and navigate the conversation.
He just wants to.
Yeah, let me tell y'all like this. When we first mentioned this trailer a few weeks back, I mentioned that I'm cautiously optimistic because I feel like Marvel, whether intentionally or unintentionally, did not market this project very well.
It was intentional.
And
Very
we knew
intentional.
it was coming. We knew what type of bullshit was coming. We knew the racist and misogynists were gonna get on their little Rotten Tomatoes apps and start rating this shit like 1 star or whatever. So we knew it was gonna be an uphill battle. I went into this with no expectations. I watched the first episode. I said, you know what? It's not bad. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not bad.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Solid. I love, me. We all love Alden over here in this channel.
He's great.
You're right. The show wasn't good until the white man showed up.
He said it, not me.
I ain't say that.
Graham just agrees.
I ain't say that.
No, I would never.
But no, Alden popped up, and I was like, I already know where this is going. I'm not gonna spoil it until
we all know.
You think you know where it's going.
At least we know where it's going.
We know exactly where it's going.
We watched
Anyone
the
who's
damn
seen,
show.
if you've seen Iron Man Armored Adventures, you know where the fuck this is going. Simple.
I haven't.
If you read a comic since 2016, you know where this is going. But all in all, just to say, like, I'm really pleasantly surprised. Anthony Ramos. Can't believe I'm saying this.
Bro said a slur.
Dude,
This is not bad.
Hold it, guys.
give this dude a toaster strudel ice packet because he's glazing the shit out of this.
I'm glad, bro.
He said you're coming all over him.
Golly,
Graham, this is how I felt when you were talking about Daredevil mid again. So I had to do it. You have to do it too.
Oh man, this is what the receiving end feels like. This is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
dude, this is bad. But hey, go off, King.
Go off, man. Think you're garbage.
I didn't even grant you that much grace, Graham. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're right.
And
what do you have to say about
Alias?
Alias?
3 episodes, so Marvel is doing this shit where it's only 6 episodes for every show, and
Only
there's
this
not
show.
enough time yeah, every
This
single
is
show.
the only show that has had 6. I think like Loki, everything else has had like 8 to 10.
I'm not saying
It's been
racism, but
6.
racism.
I do think
feels
that
like
plays a
it.
factor in how confident they are
It's
that
a
this is
young
going
black
to do
and
because
gifted, though.
releasing 3 episodes or 6 episodes in 2 weeks shows that you are not confident that it's going to continuously, it's not going to drop off week to week because it will and it would have.
It's insane to just drop 50% of your show, and not because you're doing it for like a narrative implanted reason,
Right.
Just to
like
do
you
it.
do with Andor, where it's like 3 years in between each episode, time skip. You are literally just dropping one complete narrative that takes place over probably maybe like a couple months to maybe a week worth of time, but not that much of a time jump.
Yeah.
Just because it's some leftover thing you had in production, and you're like, well, we can still cash in on this because we have Kugler's name
Well,
attached
and it was
to it.
supposed to come out 3 years ago.
And it was supposed to come out 3 years ago.
And I think that has. I definitely think that has, and you can see that in Born Again too. That
Thank you, Graham.
Say hesitation. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Thank you, King.
But the hesitation in just releasing it. This show has been done for 2 fucking years.
Yeah,
they haven't done anything to help it reshoot it.
It truly does feel like that. It feels like it's been in a vault
And
somewhere.
I do feel like it is a cohesive story.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
some
that.
of it is a little
It's been
jarring.
shelved?
I think.
Mhm.
How so?
I think some of it is just like going, and I do like the interaction between the mom and the AI. This is getting a little bit off track, but I think some of that cut into what's going on in the wider arc of the show. I think it's a little jarring. Like cutting to some of these moments is like, I don't know. It just felt weird. Like the script to me just, and I'm usually not one to judge a script, and maybe that's because I just don't know shit about scripts, which is probably true. I just feel like the dialogue in some of this it's rough, and the editing is rough. I love Dominique, I love Alden, and I like Xavier too a lot. And I think one of my favorite things about this show is that it's not doing the blip emotional touch. It's about a drive-by. Her stepmom and her best friend getting fucked up, and that's sad.
It's bad.
And I like that a lot compared to what you're getting in like Hawkeye and other stuff, where you're dealing with the blip or the aftermath of this.
Agreed.
It helps to ground the story when it deals with the fantastical elements of things like
her PTSD from
15-year-old
iron suits.
Yeah, where there's like a 15-year-old prodigy making like a mechanized mech suit and a magical hood, and Anthony Ramos being the leading villain. Which, listen,
Dude,
I don't.
No, but I think,
listen. With everything else going on in this movie or in this show, I feel like Anthony's presence in it, he doesn't feel like he's resonating with the material. He's very much like, I clocked in, my check will be delivered to me eventually. Let me just get through this. He doesn't feel like he's really applying any pressure.
It's because he can't apply pressure. He's a shitty fucking actor.
Dude, and I thought before that you had been giving him shit for no reason. I really haven't seen.
No, he's not good.
Genuinely. That's how I feel.
And I really cannot. I love
Great
you, Luis.
singer,
I respect your opinion. I love that you're liking this because it's good to enjoy something. It really is.
Yeah.
No matter what other people are saying, but dude,
even if you're wrong,
it's jarring how bad he just doesn't seem like he cares. And there are little moments where I had a little thought. I was like, okay, that line delivery was decent, and then he goes back to like, I don't know, the one scene where she was like trying to get out and he was in the chair, like leaned back.
I thought that was good. I love that.
Bro, what? Get the beer goggles off.
I don't know.
See, that 10 is
you look like a Redditor. I couldn't do it.
But no, this isn't a bit. I genuinely do feel this way because I've shit on him before in everything that we've seen him in that we've talked about. And you guys know
better
this.
at Transformers.
I like him in Transformers a lot.
I fucking hate him in that.
He's
atrocious. But
he's dog shit and everything.
He's dog shit and everything except
Hamilton.
for this.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and I don't know. I think it's because
he's good in Hamilton, and that's it.
no, and 21 Jump Street. But I think it's because
No one's fucking seen that.
21 Jump Street. No, hold on. Time out. We got
stop,
21
man.
Jump
Stop,
Street.
man. No, we're not.
No.
talking about that, man. Stop.
Ooh, bro.
Anyways, next.
What the heck I gotta do?
Luis, let the man talk.
I think why I like. I've been very vocal about disliking him, and I think part of the reason why I dislike him is because he does the same thing. Hey, yo, I'm from the Bronx.
Brooklyn.
I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, yo, and he just kind of does
Ramos.
that. Anthony Ramos, and he just does that thing over and over and over again in everything. He did in Transformers. He did it in fucking Twisters. He's done it in everything that we.
So you think now that he's doing it the same?
No.
Lower tone
Let
of
me
voice,
fucking talk, bitch.
he's
God damn.
Now he's a magical newsie instead of a different
think,
one.
And I do think he's doing something different enough in this one that I was just like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. I mean, I don't think he's supposed to be like, oh, he's so evil, he's scary. I think he's just a dude, a guy who's just a regular guy from Chicago who just came into. We'll figure out how he came in, or maybe I haven't gotten to that part yet. How he came into possession of the hood, and it'll explain that part of it. But I do think, and it does seem like he's got some more. He's like, I'm just trying to look out for me and mine. I'm trying to make us money and try to protect who and what I love. And I just think I do think that is working. There's something kind of mysterious and kind of dark about him, he's not doing his accent is not as thick as it usually is in every goddamn fucking thing we see him in. And I think it's different enough. And I don't know. I genuinely do not think that this performance is that bad, especially not in this like from what I've seen from it and considered
that bad doesn't mean it's not. Doesn't mean it's good.
I'm saying, I don't think it's that bad, is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, and I do agree with the mysterious part. They're definitely. I don't personally think it's him making it mysterious. I think it's the way that they're going around what
Maybe
the hood is.
The writing,
Good director this time.
And I think the mysterious part is right. I don't think he's dark. And if you haven't finished the third episode, then he has a little what I thought was going to be his time to shine, and like. He just was not there. Like
he handsomely argues with space and type shits his way through a monologue, and it's not good.
Type of shit.
Yeah, and
you know who I think is corny and goofy in this? Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah, but it works for his character.
I disagree. I think it's
I
annoying.
agree.
He's
Like a Reddit or Discord.
The reason I think it works is because I think this is whatever, but I think it's a front. I don't think he's fucking nice.
For sure.
But we're gonna get into that. That we're gonna see what happens. That's not him. It's obviously a show. It's a facade for Riri.
Yeah, I almost think he's like. I almost
effective...
think he's got a little BPD, and not necessarily BPD. I mean, like, like he's got like a split personality.
You mean like a usual, or maybe it's like a usual suspect situation, like a Kaiser Sosa, like he's just gonna start walking straight out of nowhere. Just
do you mean an Officer Dewey situation, like in
Super Troopers?
I do like how self-contained. I mean, we'll see. Mephisto is supposed to be in this, so
allegedly.
We'll see how big and how and we know that the hood has magic. You know, it's imbued with magical powers and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
I mean, we're 3 episodes into a 6-episode show. And
I don't know
all we've seen to do is go invisible and curve a bullet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'd rather just watch Wanted.
dog shit movie.
Great movie.
Exactly.
Dog shit. But what I was gonna say is that I like how grounded this story is. I think where a character like Ironheart would be, especially when they're like, "Oh, Mr. Stark's legacy," or whatever. We need to get over this bullshit. But like, I think it would be so easy to try to make this story so much bigger than it should have been. And I think that this is the right thing to do. Keep it local, keep her at home, keep her in Chicago. Yes, it does not feel small or too big. It feels like, oh yeah, this is the world that she exists in. Yeah. She seems to fit in this world, and all the people and all her interactions seem very real.
She is.
It feels.
My fault. You go.
I was gonna say it feels like. I don't mean this to like make it sound like I'm hyping up the show to be more than it is, but it truthfully does feel like what I wish certain Spider-Man films were. Yes. Where it's more homegrown, more street level.
She's interacting with the dudes
with her community, right?
Yeah.
With the people on the ground level. It's that home touch that I've been missing. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do agree with that.
In terms of that, right? If for any other reason for people to check this show out, right? Even though Disney just dumped it out, I would say at least for that reason alone, if you're a fan and miss of more like street level stories, right? This is a good one, right? It has a good, nice, warm feeling to it. I feel at least from the episode and a half that I watched until the bear came out, but it's great. I think it's genuinely a pretty promising show, and it could have been much worse from the absolute bin that they tried to force the show into. It is 1,000% not as bad as people said.
It's much better than Secret Invasion.
That's not a high bar to clear, but it still does clear nonetheless, and I'm grateful for.
It's not horrible.
It's pretty good.
It's not horrible.
What is it not?
Okay.
I think my problem, and I guess this is just me being watching Iron Man, 7 times in theaters when it first came out. I think as a legacy show, which Hawkeye was, Captain America was, and they did their respective characters that show is those shows are about. Great. And I'm thinking, no, the second, Captain sucked. Hawkeye to me did Hawkeye the original
Hawkeye
character
was
that the
fun.
show is a legacy show about. Great.
Chill.
I think that hopefully Zeke will bring that back in. So before I can't really speak on that yet until the show is over about I guess how it does their respective legacy character. But I guess I guess I want a little more. But obviously that's just me being nostalgic for Lord Stark.
I think the show 1000%. If I were to give my overall take on it, to assign a numerical value feels unfair based on like how much this show has been scrapped. But in a perfect world, this would have come out earlier, along with Wakanda Forever. Would have been a pretty interesting follow up because she would have been
right
fresh in the
after.
It should
zeitgeist.
right after. Yes.
Right? Yeah. In a perfect world, that should have happened, and
And she hasn't mentioned Wakanda at all.
She did.
That's
she did.
good though.
She
No, it's not.
barely.
She was introduced in that
She said
movie.
we
You're not
did it.
talking
She said I went there. I helped them fight off a horrible enemy, and they didn't let me keep anything, and I had to sell my dad's car. Fuck
Yeah.
them.
She did not say all that at all.
Yeah.
I don't think she mentioned anything.
She mentions it. She mentions
She
it like an
mentioned-
internship, like a work study, basically.
Mhm.
But she doesn't give them like the 1000% details.
I think
But
it
here's-
should be
but here's
talked
the
about
thing.
a little more. And
I know. See, it's just, and that's what's so complicated about these kinds of things. Because if they tie it too much to Wakanda Forever, people they're like, "Fuck that fucking movie! Stop talking about them. Make your own story." And if you don't, you try to focus it and narrow it down to something a little bit. People are like, "Well, what about? How does this tie into the MCU at large?"
You
So it's like
can't
it's
win
such
with
a
everybody.
you literally cannot
You
win with
can't.
everybody.
I think
So-
they handled
It's a
it.
massively double-edged
Yeah, you
sword.
can.
No, I think they handled it the right way.
Love
they,
Endgame.
they
I
mentioned
agree.
it just enough to where it was like, okay, we know where she came from as far as her introduction, but now we're telling her story in her own world versus the world of Wakanda. 'Cause she mentioned griot. I'm like, no one's gonna know what the fuck a griot is if you're not in Wakanda, you know. So
Also, if people had never seen Wakanda Forever and this is their first time watching an
that was a
MCU
$1 billion movie.
Yeah,
You're
that's
Everybody
but,
saw it.
no.
Niggas have
But
jobs,
here's the
man.
thing. Here's the
got
thing,
jobs.
though.
But
How
you get
many
what I'm
people-
saying. Like it
I know
has
a
to be-
select.
It has to be palatable
I know
enough
a
for
very
for-
specific demographic who didn't watch that movie.
And also
Say that.
think about it like this:
Mexicans.
when did
I saw
Wakanda Forever came out like 2 years ago?
No,
3.
it's like 4.
Three or 4. Okay, almost
It was
4 years
21, I
ago.
think.
In the past 4 years, so much has happened, not even just within like society, but also mainly in the pop culture sphere. Marvel has been in a major slump, and they're trying to push forward, having to re-scrap and do all this stuff. I don't think that the best thing to do would have been to really focus very well on her past and Wakanda Forever and one of their past works, because this is already a very old show that they last minute had to just chunk on here. If they bring more of the past to it, that's going to drag down already the very slim marketing that they have for this. Because there's certain people I've talked to, even at my workplace, that are fans of Marvel and everything, and they didn't know this was out.
That's
Which
crazy.
says a lot. That's not good. And the fact they've dumped 50% of it for what I feel is...
I don't think
if I were to
viewership
get-
matters. I think that's such a bullshit metric. People didn't watch Andor, and it's the greatest thing on television. So it's like
exactly.
I just disagree. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair, and that's totally fair. I would like to. It's so interesting to see what it is. I mean, and a lot of it has to do with like your attachment to certain characters and certain creators or certain actors and stuff like that. I mean, why do I dislike Born? How you feel about this show is how I feel about Born Again, if not more. You know, and that's a show that for the most part you guys all really liked, and I just couldn't. It pissed me off. You know, so I understand, and it's just so interesting to see certain things that people really like and why we like them. I don't know. I think that's a conversation.
I'm gonna
in and of
binge the
itself.
next 3 episodes, so if that says something, like I'm interested for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's partly because it is a Marvel thing. You know,
Mhm.
like I'm tuning in to all of it.
Regardless, yeah.
Regardless. And I'm like, fuck, man. This should have came out 3 years ago, and it should be just a little more honed in. You've had 4 years to work on, and I think you should have honed some stuff in, condensed some stuff down, cut out some shit. Like, I love the AI is
Condensed
her
more
sister.
than
Make
condensed-
Natalie less fucking annoying
condensed more than 6 episodes.
and give her less lines.
She's great. Natalie, what the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
Natalie's
about?
I think she is. I think she is
I think
good.
I
but
think
like
the actor
whole,
is good,
tripping.
but the
the
character's
whole
really annoying.
part, I kind of agree. I think the whole part with the computer, like, you could have done. I don't know. And this, this sounds nitpicky, but I do feel like it just kind of throws off the tone of what you're going for, especially in episode 2. Like, she's in some shit, and she knows she's in some shit. And
Wait
then
till you
you're
get to
cutting
episode
to
3.
like, you're cutting to this. Yeah. You're cutting to a CGI looking laptop with a CGI thing in the laptop, scrolling through whatever, and it's like
hacking the computer.
Need this. We don't need that though. Like, we know it's an AI. We know what AI are capable of.
No, we don't.
We don't. We've got Vision walking around, and Ultron almost took over the world. Like,
right,
the
but
AI
Riri
was a whole phase.
But Riri is not. I mean, she's not Tony, and I mean, what her AI? I don't know. But it's
also better. It's a better AI though.
But it's also different because
that's why she was able to make a perfect fucking copy of her best friend.
I was gonna say, but it's
also
her
dead best friend.
Well, she's smarter than Tony. But I was gonna say it's also.
I agree.
But I was gonna say it's also we have to have that time with Natalie and like see what she's capable of and stuff, so that they can build that animosity between them at first, and Riri's kind of opposition to having Natalie consider herself Natalie, even though she's just an AI, even though Riri's the one who created her and made her, in the shape of her best friend for a reason.
Yeah.
And then having that conflict there so that so when they finally become best friends and she, so that it all pays off.
When Alden or when Zeke was like, when she was like, hypothetically, what would happen if I hooked my brain up and made an AI basically with my brain cells? And he was like, oh, it would turn to goop. Like you would be dead. And she's like, well, I would have been like, well, I fucking did that shit. Tony couldn't do that. Hank Pym couldn't do that. Hey, I'd be like, yo, Daddy couldn't do it either.
What your daddy do? Wait a minute.
But and what sucks is like, I think all these
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
With all this, there's parts that I really do enjoy, like skeletal. It's like the spine of something. I don't think the arteries are there. I don't think like the skin's there. The meat.
Damn, that's all important.
I know. And I don't think that's all there. And,
Graham, no pun intended, but it seems like you wish things were more fleshed out.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Just a little bit, exactly.
Nice. Okay.
Because I can see that.
There's two and this is a little off track, but her flying through that tunnel looked amazing. Like the show looks good.
Oh, the CGI is great.
It's awesome.
CGI is great.
No more nanotech.
Hey, and then you've got this fool in a Sheen cosplay hood and some white track. Looks like Mr. Terrific in the new Superman with that.
It looks fucking ridiculous.
It's horrible.
The hood, how the fuck else were they supposed to do it? The hood as a concept is goofy and stupid. It's a guy in a fucking hood.
No, look.
You can't make that look cool. You cannot.
You can make a lot of stupid shit look cool. If you did not think for a second that a 6 foot tall man, if you do not think for a second that a 6 foot tall man with spiked bat ears and tight pants is the dumbest fucking thing ever. You can make the dumbest things look cool, Luis. There is no argument for that costume looking as shitty as it does. It looks ridiculous.
His tattoos look cool.
His tattoos are cool. I feel like the tattoos and the body scar. I fuck with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
it's pretty awesome.
And the more he uses it,
if they didn't have him dressed up like a BJ's employee with a big ass Red Robin hood,
he looks like he does close up magic in a coffee shop, and it really bums me out.
After getting off of a crotch rocket that was bought and like, it's not a Kawasaki, Suzuki. It's none of those. It's just
he's riding a Grom. He's riding a fucking Grom. A Vespa.
He's like a Gryffindor graduate that also brews his own kombucha. Like I want to punch him.
Like, the whole brother. I
ordered a Harry Potter movie off of Temu, and this.
I don't like the brother dynamic he's got going either. I don't think that's I don't think that's hitting the mark.
It's not very. He doesn't hit as hard.
The only person out of that crew I give a shit about is Slug.
Slug,
Is
cool
Slug
as
the tech?
hell.
Is Slug the computer
person.
The hacker.
Yeah.
The hacker.
Yeah.
I like Slug.
See, I
Slug's
like
cool as
John.
hell.
I like John and Hood's relationship. I think it's interesting.
I think
I think
there's
they're good
something
actors out there that
there.
have good chemistry.
I think there's something there. I
You're
think
wrong.
the brother actor, John, I think he's way better.
Damn,
Bar
I
none.
thought John was ass too.
See, you
You're a
have no
hater.
concept for what
I
good
know.
acting
I
is.
think
Shut the
No
fuck
fucking
up.
way,
I
bro.
do
Bro,
think
just a
I
hater.
don't think he's good. I
I
don't
might
think
be
he's
a-
good,
I
but
might
I
be a
think
hater.
he's better than I
Y'all
think
are
he's
insane.
Anthony. No, dude, Anthony is. It's bad.
You
That's
don't
my
like the
biggest thing.
knuckle boxer twins?
No,
No, they go
I
hard.
don't. I don't like
They go hard.
the crew except for
I'm
Slug.
indifferent.
Eric Andre. Thank God, and I like Eric Andre.
I'm really glad they got rid of his
Fuck
ass.
out of here. Me
Yeah.
too.
Smoking Rampage pack.
You know what the crew reminds me of, and I feel bad because it's not
What?
as bad, but they're just so inconsequential to me. The mods from fucking Boba
Yes.
Fett.
No,
Oh my God.
don't you
Yes.
fucking dare.
They're
Yes,
just
dude, I
fucking
promise
there.
you, that fighting of them in the garden, and then at the in the first thing, dude, it's
Yeah.
horrible, terrible.
good.
And
I thought the
it's
fighting
not
was
on them.
not bad.
I'm so upset that you've pointed this out because now I'm never going to be able to unsee it. Because even when they were in the Book of Boba Fett, I was questioning, why is this the Goonies? What is happening? Why are these teen
Dude,
rap
they
scallions?
wish they
in my
wish
Boba
they were
Fett
the
show?
Goonies. Don't ever disrespect my Goonies.
And now, but
Fuck
this
the
crew of misfits is like I don't know. They're not like super interesting.
Not at
They're
all.
boring.
They're
They're-
boring.
They're not because it
And here's-
feels like save for maybe the Hood, Slug, Hood's brother, and
Cousin.
well, that's it. That's about it. That's about it.
Cousin.
There's 4
Cousin.
people worth giving a damn about.
Just Slug. I think an argument I could make would be like, oh, they're kind of focusing on other things, but no, just write it. It could just be better.
They should have just made Hood Ghost Rider, bro.
Yeah.
Make him fucking Robbie. what's
Robbie
his name?
Reyes.
No. There's a Hood who's Ghost Rider in one of the fucking comics.
We're talking about Ghost Hood? My God.
Maybe.
Hood Rider?
I don't know
My
what's
Hood.
going on. Hood Rider.
Bro, I'm gonna look his ass up.
Yeah, that dude went to the Hood wheel and got that fit though.
Don't Hood Will.
The Hood Will? Like
The Hood
it's
Will.
Brown, the Hood Will?
Parker Robbins.
That's who this is. It's
That's who
Parker.
this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
dude. Oh no, you talking about the comic where
they should have made him Ghost Rider.
you talking about the
That'd be
comic
way
where the
more
Hood goes on a rampage, gets a whole bunch of power, and then gets his ass kicked as he does every time.
I don't know. I don't read fucking comics.
Dude, that would be cool. That would be a lot cooler.
Yeah,
Just
if the Hood
buck.
if the Hood was going around like just acquiring different magical artifacts and stuff, I feel like that would more so deserve a movie. Soundboard is crazy, but I'll disregard that. But I feel like
I couldn't
Why is
hear
it
it.
so delayed?
I was saying to Graham earlier
That was
how it
forever
would be more
ago.
effective if they blended Armor Wars with this show and they made it a full movie. I feel like that would have been a little bit better because then you
I
could
can get
have
that.
both of them dealing
But
with
after we
grief.
talked about how grounded this is, when you put Iron Patriot, War Machine in something
Yeah.
and ties in with this, it's gonna make it a
Too vast,
national.
too big, yeah.
I do
I
kind of agree with that.
disagree
Is
slightly.
I think. Well, here's my thing though. As much as I would like War Machine and I want him to be in this, what the fuck is War Machine gonna do in Chicago?
Nothing.
Well, that's
Get
the
shot
thing, Graham.
again?
I'm
Clean
saying-
up the streets.
I'm saying,
He's gonna fix
I'm
it.
saying you
Clean
rework
up
this,
the
you
streets.
retooled it, right? You scrap the aspect of it being a show and you rework it into a film,
Thank
right.
you.
combining both
That's
of
what
those
I'm saying.
attributes. Because this would be completely useless as a show. Because a lot of the Disney Plus things, even though they are somewhat inconsequential, right? You can see there's things that they try to build upon later in the movies. I feel
Motherfucker,
like
we're worried about low viewership for an Ironheart show. How the fuck do you think a movie starring 2 black actors that is an MCU movie is gonna fare?
Wakanda
Well,
Forever and
I mean-
Black Panther did good.
Right, but Black Panther
We'll
had
do
the
it.
established Oscar nomination and it made
Yeah.
a fuck ton of money.
Okay.
and so people knew what to
And
expect.
Civil War was
Boom.
good.
But
Yeah.
you have to
And
think.
you
have to
think
this would be
you think an
coming out.
Ironheart and a War Machine movie was gonna make a billy?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
All right,
agree.
look, give this
I
the
do.
same
Ironheart
Ironheart.
movie.
You
Hear me
fuck
out,
with me,
hear me
right?
out.
Like all the
An
other movies,
Ironheart
if you
movie?
have an interesting villain and an interesting storyline, then it could work. They just have to give
Exactly.
a fuck.
Exactly.
An
And on top of
Ironheart
that-
movie would not work by itself, but an Armor Wars film where it's
And
Rhodey,
you tie in and
Ironheart doing her shit. Rhodey's
You bring
dealing
back
with all types
Justin
of shit.
Hammer. You can bring back
Exactly.
Whiplash.
Sam Rockwell.
And
He's
then we
still
throw
alive. I don't
out
know
this
if he's
White Vision show that no one seems to know anything about.
Vision
Probably-
Quest.
No one wants to know anything about it. Who gives a fuck?
So bring in White Vision, bring in Ultron, bring in War Machine, and you have, I don't know, her making
like
her AI.
Spider-Man
and
3 situation.
That's
Matter of
see,
fact,
and there you
yeah.
go. Like that's just what it could be. And I do like that this is grounded. So I guess thinking it blending in War Machine and what is like basically leftover Iron Man story plot holes into this could throw it off. But I'm also like, why is
Also-
War Machine not in this? He is an Iron Man.
a benefit of making it into a film like that, to where you get all, even like the White Vision movie show that's coming out that probably no one's gonna watch, right? Take all that and have it really hit on the legacy of Tony Stark, with you putting all of that of the like that view, that burden of the legacy of Tony Stark, and being what like someone who's associated with what it means to have been the man who saved effectively the entirety of the universe, right? Being a part of that. You could take that burden off of a character like Spider-Man, who's much more trying to come into his own, and you could put it off to the wayside and have that character like Spider-Man propped up more. I feel like this show has potential because it's like you were saying, Graham, it's a skeleton. There's something there. And if you link together all these other things that they have to do, they could really play on that theme of the legacy of Tony Stark. And also, I feel like by the time they get to Doomsday, right, when Tony Stark comes back, or Robert Downey Jr. is back, and he's an evil, fucking horrible mastermind, right? It would make films like this hit even harder.
Well, and then you have two characters,
fair.
Spider-Man and Riri, that would be like,
Exactly.
oh, holy shit. This is,
Tweet.
this is Iron Man.
Exactly.
Live tweet.
Fuck it. You could even get what's his name? Riley, or what is that kid's name from Iron Man 3 that's done nothing
Harley?
since going to the funeral?
The little
Harley.
kid.
Nah,
Fuck it.
he's
Throw Harley in
dead,
this
bro.
hypothetical
That is
armor.
done. If they're not gonna make him
Iron
Lad,
Iron
then
Lad,
he's
then he's cooked. So okay, this is a really random tangent, but recently they got a script leak for the Vision show, and Vision is going to Madripoor looking for Ultron, who is now like a Terminator. He is in flesh and he's ruling part of Madripoor. That's kind of fucking sick.
Not them trying to save money on the CGI budget so that they can fucking so they like James Spader. You're actually in this bitch.
Right. It's just him from the Blacklist. Oh my god, he doesn't even change his suit. Like it's the same day of the shoot. He just walks across the street, and goes to film White Vision.
Well, I'm very curious to see what they're dropping the next 3 episodes all at once next week.
I think next Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Well,
I'm excited to see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I definitely, and I went into this like I think everyone else on here did, with low expectations. I did not think the trailers necessarily looked great. The expectations are still low. I was a little bit surprised by how. I mean, I knew Dominique was great. She was great in Black Panther 2. She's really, really good in this. And there's scenes, I think, specifically with Zeke where she shines. And I do think she can hold her own in a movie. I think she could really hold her own in a team-up movie, a.k.a. Champions, Young Avengers.
No, don't even do that. Fuck that movie.
It's happening. It's happening. Mark my words. Mark my words. Miss Marvel will show
like
up at
3
the end of this
motherfuckers
show.
in that bitch.
I promise you.
It's gonna be.
They still can't figure out how to fucking introduce
Miss Marvel.
What's his face? The other Wanda's kid.
Wiccan and I think
we got Wiccan.
We got Wiccan. He's stupid.
We need what's his name?
We need
Patriot.
Speed still.
Iron Patriot's already.
Lad,
oh yeah,
no, not Iron.
Or not Iron Patriot. Patriot. Patriot's
Yo,
already there.
He's
already there.
He just needs a suit.
Hey, instead of Iron Lad, they could use what's his name's grandson?
Elijah?
Old Cap.
Elijah
yes, they could use his grandson. Or I guess that's not Iron Patriot. That's
Patriot.
That's
Patriot.
It's just a little Captain America.
That'd be
Black in America. Get it right.
I guess if they have Riri, they don't need an Iron Lad, right?
No. I mean,
that'd be
so that's kind of that's one of my expectations, not expectations. I'm looking forward to seeing her
Bro,
team
when are
up
they
with
introducing
all
the
the
real
other young
smartest
people.
character, bro? When's Dinosaur Girl coming in?
Oh, you mean Moon Girl?
And
You mean-
Dinosaur?
Moon Girl. Yeah,
I love Moon Girl.
That would be
Dude,
lit.
listen.
That
I
would be a
think-
great show.
I think
That'd be
this is
fun.
the
That'd
think
be
the
fun.
reason why I'm liking Ironheart so much is because I've watched a lot of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Here's where my
course you
cartoon
fucking
hat's
have.
going on. But Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is sensational. It is a banger.
it
It
is
is
good.
the only cartoon I've ever seen where they're like, yeah, this is made for children, but we put Sweatpants by Childish Gambino in the first episode. Banger. Banger. Amazing cartoon choice. And the soundtrack slaps, animation's beautiful, the story is very heartfelt, and it is very black. This feels pretty black. It's not all the way there. It's like
I kind
Hollywood.
of wish they would lean into it more.
But
She
it's
hasn't
pretty
started to be
close.
young, black, and gifted yet, so you know it's not black.
It doesn't have that same natural blackness, but I do like the home.
But it's got a pretty black cast. Like
It's a pretty black
it's
cast.
black-
I mean,
it's
just
pretty
like,
black and brown. The only white person I can think of is
Zeke,
Alden.
the twins.
it's just a general vibe.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
even the
Like,
twins are brown. The twins are brown.
Like-
Oh,
No.
okay.
I mean vibe wise, like with dialogue.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, doesn't feels unnatural. Like
So yeah, the
today,
dialogue has been fucking
Like-
ass.
like
That first episode
like-
was like where the guy's like, he's like, you remember how your stepdad used to do this, and he used to do this.
Yeah.
You remember how you remember
yeah,
how
it feels very like
Do
it
you
feels
remember how
very like
your
bullet
stepdad
point
did
esque.
this? I
You know
remember.
what?
Does it-
To me,
yeah.
Do you remember?
It's a lot like Iron Fist dialogue. Like it's
Yeah,
It's
very expository heavy.
each person says a line, one person has a response, next scene.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel natural.
Mhm.
And that's what I mean. It feels like Hollywood black instead of like
And that's
natural
why I
black.
think
Like this is a
we-
crazy comparison jump, but like the episode of I don't know how far you guys are into the Bear, but there's an episode where Sid gets her hair done and she's just talking to her friend.
Don't talk
And then
about
she-
it. I don't want to hear it. I want it. I want to experience it. Thank you.
But sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't care.
But where Sid's talking to her friend, and her friend is a black woman who's getting her hair, who's doing Sid's hair, and then she also later on talks to the daughter, who's a little black girl, and it feels very natural, but it also feels black,
like
naturally
a
black.
barbershop movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot explain this in any way, but other black people know what I'm talking about if they see it. It's one of those things where like
What's up?
her
Hello,
when you see
black
like
people.
realist, yeah, like her, you know, like whenever you see like Latino families in a movie, and then in like you see
Like
them in
Blue
different
Beetle?
movies, and sometimes they feel natural, and then other times it's like, hey, hermano,
Oh, yeah.
how are you
Hola,
doing?
hermano, ¿cómo
Yeah,
estamos?
like,
Hey, I'm going to the cafeteria. You want lonche? Yeah.
yeah, like you're talking to Peggy Hill, like it feels very
and then
gross.
you have Blue Beetle, which is fucking perfect in every way.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think
it's
Spinners is a good
natural.
example of that too.
exactly.
Yeah,
Sinners is a
and-
good example of
And then,
natural
and then you
black
have
dialogue.
Haley Steinfeld's random ass. Like, cut that.
Yeah,
fuck
doing a
face
black
off.
scent the whole movie.
Jesus Christ, it made me
I'll be
sick.
any bitch in you.
All right, what do we
But-
got? Do we
but
want to
the
do number
dialogue is
rankings
good.
for this
I'd
half
say-
season?
Yeah, let's do our ratings for the first three
Yeah.
episodes. We'll do our final ratings next week for the rest of the season. But so far, shit, man, I put this at like a 3.5. I give it a 3.5.
Out of 5. Out of 5.
Yeah, out of 5. Yes.
Okay.
Bro,
no,
pause for
I was
a
like,
second.
dude,
He
it's
doesn't
not-
mean that.
It's not there.
yeah,
I was like, it's not perfect, but it's not there.
for
Okay,
so
cool.
many minutes. Just
I
to
forget we're going on the letterbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we changed our rating system here. We're following Letterboxd to make it easier for you normies who don't. No, I'm just playing.
Definitely not normies. No one downloads
Normies are
this
out
shit
of
but
10.
us.
Real cinephiles in the cut know what's
Is
going
Luis here?
on. He's
He's
here.
dead.
He's working.
He gave it a 10 out of 10 though. He loves it.
God.
15 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
I'd say, as someone
Blaze.
who's watched what's quite literally the first quarter of this show, because apparently they're just only doing 6 episodes like animals.
Crazy.
I'd say I give this a solid, like, judging all that it's been through, I give it a solid 4, I think, from what I've seen. And that's just because, like, this could be so much worse than it is. But I like this more than I like, what the fuck is that called? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I really hate that fucking show.
God.
I really fucking hate that show.
It could have been so good, dude. fuck.
It's one of those.
But this could have been
skeleton
Secret
shows.
Invasion, and but even at worst, this could have been Secret Invasion, which we all hate and should as humans.
I
So
try my
yeah,
best
I give it
to
a
forget
solid
it
4 out of
exists.
5. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I give it its grace.
Wow.
Graham, you want to go?
I'll let you go.
All right.
Put
That's
the
it.
lowest and last.
It's like a 3. It's not bad.
Yeah,
I have my issues with it, but I think the CGI looks great. I love that there's no fucking nanotech. I hate the AI bullshit, but that's whatever. You know, it's got more positives than it has negatives for me. So I'm cool with it. I'm not mad while I'm not actively angry while I'm watching it, like Secret Invasion or Agatha all along. So I'm good. I'm good.
I forgot about Agatha. That's
Agatha was another show that was liked by
did.
only Louise.
Holy fuck! I guess I'd give it a 3 too, because there's stuff I like, and I think the stuff I don't like might be personal, nitpicky. But I know. But what I don't like, I don't like.
I harbor hate for the man who won't be named, so I can't.
Dude, but he's I can understand.
Voldemort.
I'll end it. This will be the last thing, dude. He's bad.
He's horrendous.
He's very
bad. So I might. You know what? I'll do 2.75.
just because
what a fractioned ass number rating.
Yeah, could be a 3. Could be a 3.
Fair. I think. Oh, but one really positive thing that I wanted to mention that I really liked is in that first episode how when she's walking down the street in through an eighth of a mech suit, everybody's just like, "Girl, what are you doing? Do better. Come on, what you doing? You look ridiculous. You look like somebody whooped your ass."
That was the last time the show felt black. Like they said.
It did feel very black in that instance because you just having a tough time and you mind your own business and black people start frying you. That is very black. That is very realistic.
You be having the worst day of your life.
Like in high school.
They're gonna cook your shit and you be like, damn, you can't.
My favorite response she gets is when that one lady in the purple coat just goes, "Girl, was that you that crashed earlier?" Damn. That's it. But it's so funny. Like I just like how normal the weird shit is in this world, to where they're just like, yeah, fuck it, there's a bitch in the mech suit, whatever. I don't care. Might as well happen. That was fun. Ah man, this is a fun show. But you know what isn't fun?
Speaking of fun,
No, go ahead, Hart. I'll be honest. My mom's probably gonna be bad.
I was just gonna say, speaking of fun, guess who's directing the new James Bond movie?
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Ooh, go ahead.
The GOAT himself. The man is literally on. He's on.
The perfect.
Oh, he killed Graham.
I'm done. I'm
He's
done.
back.
Don't want me to just leave.
They kicked my boy.
There he is. The next James Bond movie.
They got him.
I was gonna say
Nivea
we're talking about Ironheart and her connection with Natalie and their bond.
Oh my. Dude, give me soundboard control. Yeah.
I'm glad you did to yourself. I'm hyped.
Nah, this is sick though. What a gift. He's honestly the last person I think I would have expected.
Can you imagine if he shoots it like Sicario?
Dog.
Oh,
like grounded as fuck.
Imagine going through all the directors we've had. Let's think. We had Sam Mendes for what was it, Skyfall?
Fuck Sam Mendes.
And Spectre. And then like who directed whatchamacallit? No Time to Die. Fuck, I forgot.
Some nobody. Christopher Columbus probably.
And who directed who directed Casino Royale? We had an elite run of directors with the Craig films.
Did
I'm
we?
not gonna lie. I think so. I like them.
Fuck yeah.
They were good movies.
The only bad one is Quantum. Really, Spectre.
I kind of like that one.
Spectre's hit or miss. I do kind of like Quantum, but it's the worst out of the bunch.
Like that.
By far. Casino Royale is one of the best movies I think.
Dude, Casino Royale had me going with a deck of cards in my hand.
I'm young. Casino Royale was my first fucking Bond movie I ever watched.
For real?
Really?
Yeah. And it's so good.
Graham knows my
Dude,
Matthew lore.
I had from Sean Connery to Pierce Brosnan on VHS.
I think my first Bond experience was
Pierce Brosnan because of the what's it called? Die Another Day. That's the one with Halle
Which
Berry.
is,
Right?
which is the one that they have
I love it.
with Sean Penn, I think, or Sean Bean, I think, with 006, and it's Pierce Brosnan. Which one is that one? Because that was my first Bond.
Wait,
film.
what'd you say?
Goldeneye.
That's
Goldeneye.
GoldenEye and Die Another
With
Day.
Sean Bean? You talk. That's
Yeah.
dude, it's amazing. It's amazing.
That was my first Bond film.
Masterpiece.
Pierce Brosnan is my Bond, but I think Daniel Craig is he's pretty good. I like
Dude,
him.
he's
not
amazing.
Bond.
That's
It better not be Aaron
I
Taylor.
thought Sean Connery and Timothy
My
Dalton.
favorite Bond is
Mm.
Sean Connery because he beats women, and that's
Whoa.
accurate to British men.
What?
Whoa, dude,
fuck
look at
is
that
Bond?
giant
It's
parenthesis.
not-
This joke at the bottom of the screen.
As long as it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I
I'm
just
good,
think
bro.
this is the
Oh my
crazy. I
God,
think this
he'll be
is the
fine.
craziest get because I was really expecting Chris Nolan. He
I'm
came out-
glad
God
it's
it's
not
not
Nolan
Nolan.
because
Oh, I'm
No,
glad
no.
too.
Can
Nolan's
you
a
imagine?
great
I'm not
Can
director.
you
saying I
imagine
won't.
No, see,
the new Bond
Christopher
girl's
Nolan-
dialogue if it's fucking Nolan?
Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan
right.
would have actually shot a man for one of the scenes.
Hell yeah.
Real life practical effect. Let's shoot this nigga right now. Boom.
This is
No.
about.
It is
This is.
insane though. I cannot fathom how do you negotiate a pig like the creator of Dude?
What I was gonna
Jesus
say.
Christ.
What I was gonna say is this is
That's
about as
massive.
this is about as big a get as they could have gotten, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
can't
know
think of-
what
I
you
can't
get
think of
bigger than
another-
this.
There's not a better director that's been
The
on such a
girthiest director
streak.
they could find, dude.
Absolutely right, and I think that tweet he said he talked about like his love for the old Bond, the Connery films with his dad and stuff. So like,
Mhm.
this is someone who has grown up on this and has seen 4 generations of Bonds.
Yeah.
And-
Now with that older perspective that he could bring to the table, do you think we're gonna get a return to form like a reboot of the Bond franchise of the more like noir older spy
For sure, absolutely.
or like OSS material, or do you think we're gonna go with a continuation towards the future? Because I feel like the future gadgets are getting played out, and that
Absolutely.
older return to
getting
form
realistic.
might be more welcome.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I think it's almost a timepiece. I think you know what I really would think his best get. I think you start off with Man with the Golden Gun.
Mhm.
Y'all remember? Do y'all know who played him in the OG? Christopher fucking Lee. And do y'all know who James Bond is based off of? Christopher fucking Lee.
Fucking
Ian
Lee.
Fleming is his cousin.
Count Dooku, bro.
I think you could pay off 2 legacies on that. You could pay off the Bond legacy and you could pay off Christopher Lee. If you could get somebody that is as charismatic and is as menacing at the same time.
So get
do it.
Aaron
I'll
Taylor
do it.
Johnson the fuck out of here.
I'll do it.
I think the Bond actor obviously has got to be like your priority, but I think
You're right. He
I
has
think
to be white.
Tom Ellis.
You need somebody that fits
I
that.
like Tom
If they're
Ellis.
going old school,
Tom
you need
Ellis.
somebody that fits well
Thank
into
you.
that world,
That's good.
right?
Tom
You need
Ellis.
somebody who has like the. What are you saying, Tom Ellis?
Let him
He's-
do it.
Yeah, he's saying for Bond. Who's that little guy who
All I
plays
know is that- all I know is that this-
it is.
Nemec
Denis.
in Andor? Make him Bond.
I love Denis. This movie's not gonna be anything if the writer and the Bond they cast aren't great.
Yes, it
Yeah.
has to
So-
be. It has to be good across the board.
Great
it cannot
take.
be
We
just
said
a good
if
director.
the movie not good, movie no good. Good job.
But I do think people should watch
Movie
Sicario.
No,
in
you dumb
preparation.
bitch. I said if 2/3 of the fucking movie don't work, then the movie's
Yeah,
gonna be dog
yeah, I
shit.
know.
Even if you have
Now-
the best
I know,
filmmaker
you're right.
working
My
today.
bad.
Now, as much as I would like this to be, something majestic
in.
that I'm used to with
Who's your
Denise work,
Bond, Luis?
I would very much prefer if this had like a more.
Idris Elba.
I don't want to say like a much more humorous tone, but
Daniel
something
Craig is
similar
my
to like a slightly more serious version of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Something along.
No, shut the fuck up.
fuck
Cut his
up.
fucking mic off,
Look.
Matt.
Look.
Shut the fuck up.
That's a
bitch.
take.
No,
It's a take.
a bullshit ass take. Fuck that
Look.
movie. Guy Ritchie should be
Minis-
nowhere near this fucking franchise, and nothing
Whoa.
in that
Whoa.
Agreed. Agreed.
in that
100%.
fucking vein should ever touch this franchise.
I didn't
Denise, the
say
perfect
all
way to
that.
go. Get Alex Garland write the fucking script. Cast fucking Idris Elba. Call it a fucking day. Wrap
He
this
said-
shit up.
Get Jude Law to be the new James Bond, but
You know
we get
what?
him hair plugs this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
He looking like the seven-head in the Acolyte or whatever that.
Mundi?
What's that Star Wars show?
Kiadi Mundi, yeah.
Yeah. The new one, the Goonies, the Skeleton Crew.
Oh, I never finished that show.
Space Goonies.
That show wasn't bad, by the way.
I'll show you
I
Space
thought
Goonies.
It was good. What I saw was good.
No, yeah, bro. They
this
gotta.
is already
they gotta cast
exciting.
someone with a level of First of all, they got to cast someone young, and I don't mean young like 20s, like teens, 20s.
Do
but
we
like
need a
someone-
Gen Alpha? Gen Alpha. Gen
Somebody young enough, someone
No,
like in like their late
What's
20s,
that?
early
What's
30s.
Timothy Chalamet is
No.
James
Who's that
Bond.
kid who played
Let
the
me
boys
finish
on his parents'
because
YouTube channel? Sorry.
they're gonna be acting as they're obviously gonna be acting as Bond for at least 3 films. You
Yeah.
know, each Bond character has at least 3. Well, most of the Bonds have 2-3 films.
Typically, yeah.
Craig had 4? They're gonna be in this role for
5.
a significant amount of time. Oh yeah, my fault. I can't count math. I don't fuck with math. Math is racist. But yeah, they have like 5
Three
films.
fists.
Tell him, brother. Juneteenth was last week. Tell him, brother. Yeah, speak on
Math
it,
is a sin.
math is a racial construct. Don't let me get on my soapbox. No, for real.
Yeah.
Whoever they cast as Bond has to be 1, charismatic, 2, willing to play this role for a good chunk of their acting career.
He's got to be
Me.
hot.
I'll do it.
Oh, he's gotta be hot.
Oh,
I'll
sorry,
do
I
it.
wasn't saying.
I'll fucking do it, man. I'll put on my bridge
Um,
Bond. James Bond. Yeah.
You know
See,
what?
and that's what's
Make
crazy.
Jonathan
I can't
Bailey
really
James
think of.
Bond.
Nah, bro.
I
Do you
can't
guys
really
know
think of
Ryan's World?
anything that's not
Ryan's World.
Yeah, that should be
Luis,
Bond, dude.
I would have said Jonathan Bailey too, but the reason why I didn't say it is because I want him to be Cyclops so bad.
No.
It's not gonna happen, but a nigga can dream. So yeah, go ahead and throw him in the James Bond running.
Who's Nate from Euphoria? What's his name?
Jacob
Elordi.
Jacob
No.
Elordi Bond.
He won't do it. He won't do it.
What's
He wouldn't
He,
do
he
it.
What?
can do it. He can do it.
I don't necessarily know.
Fuck it. We're putting him in
Very
everything.
cute.
Aaron Pierre Bond, bro. Fuck it.
No, it's too.
Fuck it.
If we get a black man, I want to be dark skinned. None of that
It's
half-ass bullshit.
it's got to be
Full
Idris.
send.
He's the
Idris.
perfect.
Make it Idris.
It's got to be. But
He's just too
it's
old
not-
now.
He's too black.
it's
What
too
about
old.
what
It's
about
too
God?
old.
What is his name, dude? The savior of the Japans. What is his
Oh,
name?
Diamond Hunter.
John Blackthorne.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that was
AZ.
That's a good
No.
choice.
AZ.
That's
Stop.
a good fucking
Stop
choice.
talking, bro. What is
What?
wrong with you?
I like
Oh,
that.
is he talking about Jarvis?
Yes, Cosmo Jarvis.
No, Jarvis
No.
can't fucking act.
That's
No,
what it is.
I thought it
I
was
think
great.
he's cool. I think he's got a nice beard.
Bond.
I think he's got a lot of charisma. That boy can't act.
Bond. James Bond. The
I thought it was-
I'm on a mission to the
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
If they're going for a young,
Then was playing,
if they're going
James
for
Bond.
a young black actor, Papa Isadou, the guy who's playing Snape in Harry Potter, he'd be
If they
incredible.
go for a young,
He
No,
got fired.
David Johnson.
yeah,
No. Or
He's gonna be
Riz
lucky.
Ahmed or Dev Patel.
Dev
Not
would
They
be.
won't
Not
do
Dev.
an Indian.
I think
they won't
Riz
do
could
an
do it.
Indian. They won't do an Asian.
Wait a
Bond.
minute. Wait a minute.
South Asian or East Asian?
Mm-mm.
Asian.
If they go-
He's
Asian works.
Asian. He's Asian.
If they
If they're not
the
wanting
thing
to do a
is-
black Bond, they won't do an Asian Bond. I promise you.
Let's
I
do
don't
two
I
of
don't
them.
think
Let's
they'll
do a
go
black
with that.
one and
I
an
know
Asian
the
Bond.
UK, bro. I know. I know.
Especially
British
if they're
people.
going if they're going to go for like a more noir or like an older school Bond thing. I feel like a of Eastern
This motherfucker
Asian
wants
looking
Henry Cavill.
man would be harder to look around to
I
sneak
wouldn't
around.
mind
Not
that.
Henry Cavill. No, God no. God no.
It's got to be an unknown, bro.
Tom
Let-
Ellis. Let me have
Tom-
this.
Tom Ellis is the closest I'll get
Tom-
to somebody with a good weight.
Tom
for a
Ellis
name.
hasn't
This.
worked in 5 years. He might as well be a fucking unknown. I love the man. That man
Jeremy
has not been
Allen
in
White?
shit.
No,
They would never make an American James Bond. I wish, but no.
Isn't he Bruce Springsteen?
He
You want
looks
Bruce
dumb.
Springsteen
Yeah,
to James Bond?
That shit
You had the optics on that?
Bruce
That's
Springsteen.
That movie's gonna fuck.
So it's gonna fuck so
be
hard.
so good.
We're getting
So
the complete unknown cinematic universe, bro. I'm so
We're
ready.
getting a Beatles MCU basically.
Yeah,
The BCU.
God damn it,
cooking.
dude!
We're
I'm so
cooking,
mad.
We're
Bro, the
cooking.
worst
Oh,
band
Paul
of all
Mescal,
time,
Paul
yeah.
Mescal, James Bond.
You know what?
Hey,
James Bond.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
I'm
I'm
locked
walking
in.
with you.
Only if he has the mullet.
Yeah, only.
Yes.
Look, all I know is as long as it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson, I'm good, bro. Who gives a
Yeah,
fuck?
I agree.
Make Aaron Taylor Johnson Q.
Impossible.
He's already experienced twink death. He's at twink status. He can't go back.
Damn.
You know what? Lashana Lynch, or hot take Jack O'Connell.
No,
I can see that.
I
I
can see
like
that.
him.
Yeah.
I'm okay
I think
with
he's
I
a
that.
don't
great
hate
actor.
it.
I don't think they'll cast him. I don't see
won't
him
let you
casting him.
fellowship. Then he shoots 5
Fellowship.
They won't let you fellowship.
Oh wait, my bad. You said
I
Jack
can see- I
O'Connell. I
can
don't
see
know
the
why my
vision.
brain was thinking the dude from whatchamacallit, from Challengers. You said Jack O'Connell. You mean my boy Remy?
Are you thinking,
Yeah,
Remy,
you're thinking
yeah.
of Mike Face?
No, not Mike Face. the
Oh,
other one.
oh, fuck. Yeah, that other guy. The one with
I
the
know who you're
big
talking
head.
about.
Josh O'Connor.
Yeah,
Harvey
Josh
Center.
O'Connor. It's not my fault they got the same sounding name. Niggas is uncreative in Ireland.
He said Ireland all the same.
Shout out all the
Well,
Irish, bro.
we
Big
can't.
ups my
We
Irish.
can't have him. But we can't have him be James Bond, Matt, because I've already decreed that man's gonna be playing Constantine. I feel it in every fiber of my bones. I want it.
John
Who is
Wick,
it? Josh
Keanu
O'Connor?
Reeves is coming back
Yeah,
for Constantine.
my boy,
I rock with it.
my boy Mallet,
Who?
What the
From,
fuck are you talking about?
the dude from
What
Cinestro,
the
I
fuck are you
forgot his
talking
name.
about, man?
Oh, you want him
Melon?
to be Constantine?
Yes, I want him to be Constantine.
Too late.
Yeah, he's
talking about
Keanu's
Remy.
already coming back.
Jack O'Connell.
Yeah,
we're
Jack
talking about the
O'Connell.
same guy.
Yeah, I want him. I would like him to be Constantine. I prefer if he's not Bond.
But he's not British.
No,
Okay.
I don't want to
O'Connell?
be Constantine. No.
That he's Irish.
What?
He's Irish.
Irish.
He can learn on an accent. The man's talented.
They're close enough, bro. They all got colonized by the same motherfuckers, bro.
No, the British
England.
colonized the Irish. It's very
Exactly. And
I
the
hate
Scottish and the Northern Irish. Same
And
shit,
Kenya
bro.
and United States and India, literally every country in the world.
Now,
Everywhere,
now
everywhere.
Mexico, baby.
Ooh, we
I
got
do
done in
wanna
by the
see-
Spanish.
I
The
do want to
worst
see
one.
if
All
I
my
do want
niggas
to
hate
see if this
Kenya.
All
helps
right,
put James
we gotta
Bond
wrap
back
this
on-
shit up, yo.
Yeah.
We gotta wrap this shit up.
Oh no! Wait. Oh wait, never mind. The news is very minor. It's severely minor news. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, some
Run through it
news.
real quick.
Hurry up, yeah.
All right, all right. Time to pull up Israel's minor news. All right, so recently Marvel's had a whole bunch of cancellations. It's not good. It's not good at all. They've canceled nearly 10 to 15 current runs, several of them all ending at issue number 10. It's not exactly going very well over at Marvel. And also DC's canceled a number one of their issues. And it's just bad. It's just bad all around, leading a lot of people to wonder what the fuck is going on. However, there is a Marvel DC crossover coming on later this year with Batman and Deadpool, and then we have Daredevil with Green Lantern and Crypto the Superdog with Jeff the Industry Plant Shark. And I'm very excited for all of these. And
Batman is going to
Damn
meet his
shark outta
mentor,
here.
Cyclops.
I hope to God not.
Oh,
But a number of things are going to because of this. I have the theory that they're closing down a number of their issues to focus on a possible narrative relating to Marvel and DC crossovers down the line. Perhaps the return of amalgam comics from the 90s, where they made things like Dark Claw or Superboy or Amazon, which is basically just Storm but with Wonder Woman powers. So
let's
Storm
hope the fuck
with a
not.
sword. I hope so. Sounds cool. And last but not least, in Israel's super
Reception
speedy
indicator.
little bitty news, Battlefront 2 has had a record-breaking resurgence after 5 years since its launch of 20,000 peak players after being for 24 hours available on Steam
Turn up.
for 90% off for a $4 American price tag. Still, to this day, as time of recording right now,
Mhm,
it is dropped to like 11,000, but that's still quite impressive considering how old this game is and how
A
neglected
game
it's
that
been.
hasn't been updated in like, what, 3 years?
Yeah, 3 to 5
longer than
years.
that,
3 to 5 years. They don't even have an end.
It's because
They're-
motherfuckers think that because they play it for 2 months that means that they're gonna make Battlefront 3. It's over. It's donezo's. Wrap
it's
it up.
coming.
guys.
No,
It's not gonna happen.
The
coming.
the development team that worked on it was like, yeah, we'll get the band back together. They're just waiting
because
on
guess
EA.
what? Star Wars is already a semi-dying
EA likes
household
money,
name,
dude.
and
They're
on top
gonna
of that,
do it
they
if it
like
makes
money.
money.
This is a money printing
So
machine.
there's a modding community that has been modding it, and it's under a launcher called Kyber. And I've been playing it, and it adds like each class gets like 40 new blasters. They've added like 20 new heroes, and it just shows the potential of what could have been if they would keep updating it, or at the lowest potential for what Battlefield 3 could be. And I think that has absolutely helped a lot. The sale has helped a lot. But there for a week straight, it had one of the highest concurrent players of any game that's been out, especially these new releases that are coming out. And they're seeing this for sure. And it's a great game, and it's one of the prettiest games ever made. It still looks good. It's one of the best looking games ever made.
It looks incredible.
On top of all that, we're in an era where a lot of where a lot of like friendship games are making the rounds. We got things like Repo, Lethal Company, etc. You know, a lot of games that are delegated as friend slot, but there are certain games where that community aspect can be found by just logging on and playing the games yourself. And you get a game that's something like Helldivers, right? Where it's just chaos and pandemonium where you can experience it with friends. And you put that in a Star Wars setting, you have people who haven't even heard of this game because it's been so dead for so long that are jumping onto it and being like, this feels like Helldivers, but Star Wars, because it gets chaotic and it's fun. And if this
matches can last 4 hours.
Dude, I've seen them. Yesterday, I was on a match with my friends that lasted nearly an hour and a half.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
And it was amazing. And it does not signify that people should be on the lookout for a possible Battlefront 3. I don't know what does. I have faith that this will come to be something.
I agree.
Much like what was brought
I say after they give, what's it called? The next couple Star Wars films or whatever comes out in the next year or so, Battlefront 3 will happen.
See, but they don't need to do.
There's going to be a little bit of a resurgence in the Star Wars, like, general audience, you know, and everyone's like, oh fuck yeah, I like Star Wars, yeah, let's go do that. Star Wars, yeah, lightsabers, yeah. And everyone's gonna be like, all right, cool, so let's go ahead and drop another game for your ass. Here's a fighter what's it called, Starfighter game, here you go. Here's another shit, dude. All this is gonna start coming left and right out the wazoo.
Squadrons flopped famously.
And Squadrons was sick though. It was.
I got
great.
it for like 2 seconds. This shit kind of cool, and never played it again.
I kind of disagree. I think that's probably what they're going to do, but they shouldn't do that. I think that's stupid. I think that they need to release it right now, where there is no Star Wars. There's no shows coming out anytime soon.
Fill the gap.
The next movie is going to be 2027, 2026 late year. For Mando and Grogu, which that's probably going to be trash.
1,000%,
but it's going to be ass. I want it to be good, but I think that they need to take advantage of this now, while everyone is. I mean, obviously, it's going to take 2 to 3 years to make the game, but make an announcement that way you have people continuously playing this, spending money on it, and you just have people looking forward to something, because the Star Wars bin is empty.
It really is. You can use this as a way also to help springboard promotions for things like your movies and TV shows and other IPs that are coming out later on, and build off of the new
because there's
Star Wars
unlimited things that they can. It's almost like Marvel Rivals. There's unlimited heroes, unlimited eras, planets, battles. Put Legend shit into Battlefront 3.
Oh yeah, bro!
Like have that, and they can do it, and that's going to keep us at bay until the next big episode comes out.
Feed us.
You could say, "Fuck it, we bought." Put Quinlan Voss in there. You could do whatever you wanted.
Ram Coda from
So this Kyber thing, I recommend people who are on PC playing this to check it out. It's sick. So they add like. You can play as Malgus. You can play as Revan. You can play as like it's fucking sick.
Nihilus.
Yes, Nihilus, Plagueis.
I might log in. I might have to get on here.
It's sick.
I might have to spend some time of my life playing this game. Speaking of life, real quick, I wanted to talk about Life of Chuck. Just get this one out of here real quick.
Where the hell?
I don't even know what this is. You made this up.
No,
What is
trust
this?
me.
Life
It's a movie from from a short story written by Stephen King. It surprised me because I was like, Stephen King be writing horror shit, and I watched this and it was a very emotional, feel good
Mike
movie.
Flanagan
Yeah, Mike Flanagan.
of Midnight Mass.
Yes,
What?
it's a solid film. I just want to give a quick 2-second shout out.
Chiwetel Ejiofor's in this. I'm still not gonna watch it.
Damn. Hey, the cast is loaded. The cast is loaded. It's a really heartwarming film. It'll make you think about life. It'll make you really, have a new perspective on life. I enjoyed it. Tom Hiddleston is all over the marketing, and he's in there for like maybe 20 minutes max, but he does sell his 20 minutes. So
He's on the fucking
I enjoyed
poster.
it. I gave it, I think, a 3.5 or 4.
The Aaron Taylor Johnson treatment.
As I say, he's in all the marketing, but
later.
he's in there for like 20, 30 minutes maybe. So, but it was all in all, a good film. If you have time to see it before it leaves theaters, please watch it. If not, just check it on streaming. I mean, it's not bad.
Speaking of another film on streaming.
Speaking of another film that I don't think you should watch this in theaters because it's boo boo caca, but the motherfuckers were scheming, Phoenician scheming.
This film, I heard that Wes Anderson, when he released this, he wanted to segregate the theaters it showed in, actually. He doesn't make movies for brown people.
Yeah, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 white folks on here. I guess Benicio.
This movie,
that boy is allergic to brown people. Benicio might be Spanish. That's close to white.
It's
no, he's Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. I'm so sorry. No, he's fine.
I went in there with a certain expectation because it's a what's it called, a Wes Anderson film. I saw Benicio del Toro's name attached to it. I was like, oh, this shit about to be good because I fucks with Benicio so hard. And then I watched this and I was like, what the hell am I in right now? And like I said, I came in with an expectation because it's Wes Anderson, but this even fell short for me as far as Wes Anderson films go. If you've seen Grand Budapest Hotel, this is not the same level. I mean, the shots and everything in there, the shot selection and everything is kind of similar, but overall the story is very flat. Everyone's in there acting. There's like 30 different actors in here who are all top caliber actors and literally doing nothing. So do not waste your time. I mean, if you want to see it in the theaters, go ahead. You probably have like 2 days to watch it because that's just going to be gone. But wait until it comes out on streaming. Wes Anderson, you need to come see me, bro. What the hell are you doing?
Watch this movie for free.
Watch it for free. Bro, watch it high.
Whatever means you have.
Watch it when it comes out on streaming, as soon as it does.
Yeah.
Don't fucking pay for it.
I'm not going to lie. I did go to see Thunderbolts after having an entire twisted tea on an empty stomach, and I thought Thunderbolts was great.
Jesus
but I
Christ.
thought
Thunderbolts is great.
I did that yesterday.
but-
for 28 years later, it was even better.
Oh, dude.
It enhanced
but Thunderbolts is a movie I already knew was going to be good. Phoenician Scheme, I saw the trailer for it while drunk, and I was like, oh, it looks pretty good. I saw a trailer for it again when I went to the movies a couple weeks ago, and I was like, well, what the fuck is the Phoenician Scheme? And my cousin was like, bro, that's a movie we're going to go watch. I was like, we were going to do what? I agree to this.
Brother, don't waste your time. The only scheme that we need to be doing is the scheme to end this episode. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Another episode of Cinestro in the books. Hey, real quick, if y'all want to check out some cool cats who do some cool stuff, check out Backstage OL. Follow them for all the news coming out from Hollywood. Don't go to the larger known publications like IGN, Scammers, Variety, Frauds, and Racists. Go check out Backstage OL. Real hardworking Americans who love what they do, who will bring you the news and media that you want to talk about. Just like what we do here, but at a higher level because they get paid, they got funding. We got freaking Whataburger coupons and Heart. That's what we got here. Speaking of Heart, follow our boy AZ. He working hard, putting his heart and soul into all his stuff on Tari Single at Tari Single.
We got news on that front, gentlemen. So recently, my channel, I hope they accept my appeal. I don't know if they're going to.
The
but,
war on YouTube has begun, brother.
My channel has been demonetized because apparently my voiceover parodies and redubs where I edit script and just cut up all the footage myself is not transformative enough. I guess my voices are too good. I don't know. But anyway, currently my channel, because I can't make any money from it, I'm going to try to just make as many original videos as possible, which means, unfortunately, no more voice dubs are coming. No more skits.
Damn.
But there are going to be more videos on other things in the meantime while I figure this out.
Can we get some boos in the chat for YouTube right now?
Major boos. But yeah, I'm just gonna be making videos on whatever other things. They might not relate to comics. They're probably gonna be other nerd facets of things that I find interesting. But
hell yeah,
damn. You can look out for that.
And he's also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Tari.
Oh yeah, things are going good there. I stream games there, and that's actually still pays me, so that's good. Watch my Twitch.
Let's stream Rivals after this.
Hell yeah.
God no, it's fucking 12:40. No one's awake.
And send me the link so I can watch at work.
And last but not least, follow us at Cinestro Corp. No S. Like we said, we legally cannot use the S anymore. Actually, we donated the S to DC Studios for Superman coming out next month. So if you want to see the S that's supposed to be in our app name, please check out Superman next month. Also, look out for our review of Superman. Also, look out for our review next week of F1 Megan 2.0, and then the rest of Ironheart season 1. Shit, what else going on? The Bear.
Next week 4. Is a long
We got
ass
so much going
too.
on. I know we're gonna be here for another 2 hours, man. Shit, if you watch the Brutalist, you can watch this. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the Brutalist, you can watch this. But peace, love. Check us out next week on the next episode of Cinestro Core. Y'all are awesome. Brush your teeth. Eat your
Wipe your
Wheaties.
ass.
Wipe your ass. All of it. Love.